Peace and let's dive deep once again. We are out here in the heart of nature, baby. We got the beautiful wind blowing everywhere. Woo. Breathing in that good ass prana. How to delete the God program? Snapchat questions. I always get asked, what do I think of God, religion? So we're gonna really dive deep. Buckle your seatbelt. You don't need a seatbelt for diving deep. Why? Because we're diving deep. And we ain't even had breakfast yet. Can I get a hello? Okay, I'm gonna share with you what has helped me along my journey. When it comes to religion and spirituality, what has helped me become my greatest version. Now, I actually used to serve in the church for a number of years, and then I left. I became more spiritual, and I started to have a greater awareness of what I was actually coming into contact with. Now, there's an old saying that religion is for people who are afraid of going to hell. Spirituality is for people who have already been there. Slow motion this side. So a lot of people who have really gone through a lot of fire and brimstone, okay, they have a lot to talk about of their experience. And along my journey, it did wonders when I was finally free of that God program. For some people, God is this man in the sky, an old man at that, with a great white beard, looking down on your every action. Okay? For some people, God is money. For some people, we are actually playing God through technology. But for me, I see God as not a person. You see, they say, God made us in his image. No. We made God in our image. Okay? Every single culture around the world depicts God as looking like themselves. Okay? So we are actually talking for God. So what freed me was to realize God, energy, yeah, we're all talking about the same, similar thing. I see God as waveform, vibration, energy, universal intelligence, numbers when people see 1111. Okay, but I'm going to share with you 10 steps that help me delete the God program and free myself to help me become my greatest version. Okay, so let's start with the first step. Now, someone else's experience, okay, all around the world and along my early journey, I was actually living through someone else vicariously. In every culture, you have had enlightened beings. You've got Buddha, Jesus. All of these people had what we call spiritual experiences, connecting with their higher self or the world beyond this one. So they had a great awakening experience. But you see, along my early journey, I thought, okay, only they had it. No. This awakening is available to everybody. Okay, and that was the first step of me deleting this God program, to realize we are actually gods and goddesses. We are, like the Native Americans would say, we didn't weave the web of creation. We are part of the web of creation. Slow motion this side. So I realized my whole life I was living through someone else's experience, but I didn't know it for myself. And that's where so many people find themselves. So universal spirituality is where people have first-hand experience of going through something, of coming into contact with their higher self or the world beyond this one, they have a first account of it, not someone else's experience. Okay? Now, the second step that helped me decode and delete the God program was to realize stories. Okay? The Hopi said, the one who tells the story rules the world. Pretty much everything is his story. His story. But what about my story? Okay, and over time, things have been interpreted differently. Words have been changed around. Things have been made up to make you believe in something which may be true or it may not. So when I talk of universal spirituality, I'm talking about not a story anymore. I'm talking about your own experience, okay? And in every major religion, ultimately, they're talking about the same thing. Love one another. Be peaceful. Yet why is the world in chaos? Because you see, in every major religion, you've got Judaism, then you've got Kabbalah, which is the spiritual side of it, which a lot of people don't even know about.
He's got one leg in between them, so he's in half guard here.
You've got Islam, then you've got Sufis, right? Sufism, okay? Christianity, you got the Gnostics. So, over time, as centuries pass, you see many people forgot that before religion even, a lot of people were pagans, even in Europe. That's why so many women were burnt on the stake. Because they started to recognize the power they had coming from an inner experience as opposed to an outer one. Right. And that's what happened to me. I had an inner experience to say, gosh, I could feel God working through me, energy working through me, vibration coming through me. I am a co-creator. It doesn't mean there isn't an intelligence out there. Because I see it all the time. I'm like, there are no accidents. Everything happens for a reason. But it is not something to talk of, because the spiritual apprehension of truth is intellectually incomprehensible, meaning it is ineffable. It is beyond words. It's not something you can just describe. Okay, and that's what humanity has tried to do. They've said, okay, we are going to try and describe that which cannot be described. No. We're going to actually make it a person. So, for me, I realized this waveform, these fractals, this sacred geometry, which in essence are expressions of the divine force all around us, can't just be described in human language. It has to be experienced. The truth can't be told. It has to be experienced. Okay? Now, the third step that helped me decode and delete the God program, baby. 7-Day Vegan Challenge. By the way, I'm enjoying the smoothies, right? I'm enjoying the beautiful plates of kale mixed with mushrooms, mixed with brown rice and all of that good stuff. Yeah, it's making me hungry. Okay? Now, in a lot of religious texts, they talk of animal sacrifice.
Take a look at that from a
And that was the program I received. Like, when I would be eating a lot of meat, I was kind of justifying it. Because I would say, okay, well, it says it's okay to do it. Because you hear of these stories of, these kings saying, go and find me a lamb for my guests, right? The sacrificial lamb, that's where we get it from. So, we kind of look down on animals, like they're just made for our consumption. But what happened in my awakening process was to realize that actually animals have souls, and no animal wants to be eaten, especially not by you, right? Especially not by you, right? Every animal wants to live, and then every single animal deserves the right to live. So what helped me along my journey was to say this, that there are so many other foods you can eat which don't have to take a life, a soul away, right? Plant-based foods, pineapples, mushrooms, lemon, lemons, limes, peaches, nectarines, cranberries, strawberries, anything you want. Anything you can think of, it is there for you to consume. But you see, deleting that whole God program for me was to say, okay, I get it now. The reason why the world is the way it is because we have hierarchy. Okay, we look down on other life forms as less than us, when in essence, they are just different. Slow motion this time. And they are very important. So if you are an animal lover, stand up right now. Stand up. Stand up. Okay, that's good, right? What's number 4? This is what I call the intermediary. You see, I get it. I get why religion was created by architects, very intelligent architects, because it is a teaching tool and it is very necessary. You see, everybody is at a different level of consciousness and awareness. But do you know how many people have been killed in the name of religion? What freed me along my journey was to realize this, that I was questioning myself, why do I need to go through somebody to get to the truth?
With the knockout.
And why has the divine feminine been taken out of a lot of religion? So in deleting the God program, God, what about goddess? I started to realize that I didn't need to go through anybody to get to the truth. And children know this, because as a child, you were in direct